Hi fight fans! Today in this video, bookmakers quite unexpectedly consider Makhachev a favorite, but in the upcoming confrontation, this alignment looked extremely optimistic. But is it? Makhachev can beat Oliveira? I think it's debatable. Why do the bookmakers think so? What are Makhachev's chances of beating Oliveira? Why is this fight so interesting? Let's figure it out. But you guys, don't forget to subscribe because it helps the channel grow. So let's go! Undoubtedly, Charles Oliveira is really the most serious test for a Russian fighter. A hungry guy from the favelas came to the championship belt and does not intend to give it away. An additional motivation for Dubronx is the fight in Abu Dhabi. Charles will actually fight at the home arena of Islam Makhachev. Oliveira or Makhachev, who will win, who will be more superior on the ground, is one of the main questions of the upcoming confrontation between these two elites. This is not just a battle between two fighters, but way beyond that, an eternal rivalry between jiu-jitsu and wrestling, reopening the discussion about what martial art is better. Charles Oliveira is a jiu-jitsu wizard. Islam Makhachev is an elite wrestler trained under the conductor's baton of the legendary coach and father of Khabib, Abdulmanap Nurmagomedov. Many experts believe that wrestling is jiu-jitsu's kryptonite. In the recent fights of Charles Oliveira, his main advantage was the ground game, where he was making top fighters look like they never fought before. But Makhachev is a completely different animal than anyone else Oliveira fought before. Islam has an excellent ground base of combat sambo combined with judo and freestyle wrestling, making him so dominant in each of his previous fights. There are levels of jiu-jitsu, and the level of Oliveira's ground game is completely different from that of anyone else in the UFC. Oliveira's game is all about precise technique. The Thai boxing of the Brazilian is more than capable of neutralizing the opponent, gassing him out with constant pressure, wobbling him, and even knocking him out. And that's not all that Makhachev should be worried about, but the elbows and knees from the clinch can also cause a lot of trouble to the Russian. Makhachev is a smart fighter. He knows that he will need to close the distance to prevent Oliveira from imposing his game plan, and the clinch is the area where things will get interesting. In terms of experience and level of competition, Charles has a significant advantage. While Makhachev only fought one ranked opponent, Dan Hooker, whose prime has long passed, Oliveira, on the other hand, fought nothing but the best of the best. One more thing, Makhachev has one drawback, which so far does not allow him to bring his skills to the absolute. During his attacks, being one step away from the finish line, he periodically begins to hesitate and does his job with less efficiency than he should. The same Kimura to Dan Hooker, without prompts from the corner, might not have passed in the end. Although technically this athlete knows all the subtleties, but at a high level, such blunders are already unforgivable. Another thing that we need to point out in regard to Makhachev is that there is grappling, there is jiu-jitsu, and then there is Dagestani wrestling, a different level of wrestling which has proved to be very effective in the octagon. Despite the criticism regarding the unwillingness of Khabib's team to stand and bang, we can't forget that Makhachev's boxing is not to be underestimated, and we can take Gleison Tibau as an example of that, who was viciously knocked out in the first round by Islam. His hands are accurate, and his defense is on point, making him avoid taking much damage. Islam Makhachev's fans have been saying for years that he was destined to become a champion, and many analysts agree with them. The Russian fighter has an impressive winning streak, and he came a long way to the title fight as well. We can't blame him for not taking on the top contenders of his division, since it was the matchmakers who weren't matching him against them. But on the other hand, many people think that Oliveira has a better chance of defeating Islam. For example, Michael Chandler considers Charles Oliveira to be a more technical fighter who is not inferior to the Russian either on the ground or standing. The strengths of Islam are the strengths of Charles, Chandler told MMA Fighting. Charles is a better striker, a more skilled fighter. If Islam goes into the cage and it turns out that he really is so dominant in positions, then Charles will have a bad night. But I think Charles is too technical. Standing, he will have an advantage. It will be easy to knock him down, but in grappling, he will win, Chandler said. And I completely agree with him. But what do you think about all this? Leave your thoughts in the comments, and don't forget to subscribe because it helps grow the channel.